Are we clap syncing?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Beautiful music.
Welcome.
Hi, Tales from the Long Box.
Welcome to the Long Box, everyone. Welcome to Tales from the Long Box, the show where Michael and Marshall, the big two, talk about comic books that are cool, great, or comic books that are relevant to the current times.
The big two talk about the big two.
Big two talking about big two and beyond.
Today we're very much in the big two.
Big one of the big two.
Big one.
You see how hard I'm thinking about it?
That's crazy. You're gonna hurt yourself. Always dangerous when Marshall starts thinking in the middle of the episode. Or at the beginning of the episode, at least that is what this is.
Yeah, if I start thinking at the beginning of the episode, then it's okay.
Yeah.
The middle? Watch out.
Watch your dang self.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Hey.
No way.
Dude, what?
Have you ever
Jinx?
seen two hosts so in sync?
Jinx, Michael, you owe me a Coke.
I will get you a Coke. I'll get you a Coke when we go see the Thunderbolts movie later this week, which is what we're talking today kind of about.
Later this week, the Thunderbolt movie comes out.
Yeah.
It stars all those people from the Avenger movies.
Yes, so many of them.
It stars other people from not the Avenger movies.
Yeah.
It is directed by somebody I don't remember the name. This isn't Cinema Lounge. I haven't done that kind of research.
We don't need that for
Check out our review of the movie on Cinema Lounge whenever that comes out. Maybe next week. But what we are going to talk about is, for one, Thunderbolts. Mm-hmm. Who the heck are these people? And what's their deal? What is the inspiration for the movie from the comics, if we can figure that out, based on the trailers and stuff like that. And yeah, that's kind of what that's all about. I've also got a couple pieces of not Spider-Man. Don't know why I said Spider-Man. Comic books. I'm hulking out already, dude.
It's too early for that in the episode, Marshall.
It's true. It's a problem.
We'll get there.
I apologize for my behavior. We also have a couple pieces of comic book news that I have written down here.
Sweet.
We can talk about those in just a minute here. But I'm going to have time codes in here. If you're just here for Thunderbolts, there will be time codes and you can actually watch what you want to watch. And maybe that'll help with viewer retention.
I heard you have to like and subscribe in order to use the time codes. Is that factual?
You might. I don't know if that's true.
Oh, well, try liking and subscribing, and then you
can hit that bell, Michael.
And smash that like button.
Smash your bells.
Vine boom on the you know what I'm saying?
That was so upsetting to me. But welcome to the show. We're glad you're here. We appreciate you all coming back every time. The Star Wars episode right now is our most listened episode by a long shot. It's got like 135 views right now. I haven't even checked the Spotify numbers. I keep forgetting to look at Spotify.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot there. I don't know. There's not good discoverability on Spotify. But thank you for being here. If you found us through Star Wars episode, then cool. Other stuff, then whatever. I've also been posting other stuff on the channel. So if you want to go see there's 2 process videos up right now, as of now. The first one is the first drawing I ever did on the iPad. It's me drawing Mandalorian. And the second one is Darth Vader, because Andor's coming out right now and stuff like that. So it's Darth Vader time.
Watch it all. It's free on YouTube.
It is free on YouTube. The last thing that's on there right now, I've been doing streams every week almost, and that's been fun. Did Star Wars stuff last week for Star Wars Celebration. And there's also a vlog of me getting ready for and putting together and actually participating in Tri-City Comic-Con. And that's available, and you can watch that now. It's the whole process of what does it look like for me, a full-time working artist with a regular full-time job on top of that. What does it look like for me to do that and to prepare for that and to put all that together? And there's a couple process drawings in there as well of me doing commissions at the convention. I'm figuring out my Sean Evans, like what are my hand motions and stuff like that, you know?
What's Sean Evans' hand motion?
Oh, he does a lot of stuff. He does this thing a lot. Oh, we've still got the music going. Alexa, stop. That's hilarious.
That is really fun. It felt so natural.
Well, because in Cinema Lounge, it's always in the background. I wonder if you can hear that in the...
Dude, I so hope so.
That's amazing. I think it was probably too quiet until that moment.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Until the sax dropped.
I recognize that song, though. I like that song.
It's beautiful. Yeah. We love a little bit of freeform jazz.
So, Freeform jazz is what it's all about. And speaking of freeform jazz, let's scat all the way over down to the news section of things. You know what I mean?
Give me the news. Get out of this segue and give me that news.
Did you say give me the nudes?
If that's involved in the comic book news,
Michael,
then hit me with it.
Did you say news or nudes?
I don't know, Marshall. You tell me.
Well, good nudes for you, because the Marvel is bringing back their swimsuit special after 30 years.
Cheapers, you weren't kidding.
It's so exciting. It's very exciting. It's kind of fun. It's just all the superhero characters in their swimsuits. It's like a swimsuit calendar, but for superheroes. And it's not just the girls. It's also like, it'll be Scott and Jean or Peter and MJ or whatever and stuff like that. It's kind of fun.
Cute.
You want to see a really fun letter that they got from a woman named Letra Bledsoe.
Tell me it's a concerned mom who is very worried about comic books corrupting her child. And I heard you had a swimsuit issue.
Quite the opposite, Michael.
Okay.
Quite the opposite.
Bummer.
So in the 1994 issue, Letra Bledsoe had sent in a letter. This was printed in, I guess, a follow-up issue or something. This is what she said. Dear Marvel, I just saw your issue of Marvel Swimsuit Special 1994. It was very cool because it was 50-50 male-female. For once someone was fair, it's usually 98% female. I am a black female, late 20s. I want to see Thor nude. All caps. The Dan Panosian Tom Smith picture didn't do him justice. In fact, 60% of all Thor pictures don't do him justice. Thor is truly a godsend. Please draw him much more handsome and nude in next year's issue. Thank you. Letra Bledsoe, address withheld by request.
I love how particular the percentages are in her statistics there.
There's a lot of numbers.
Most of them are 98% women.
50-50 male-female, 98% female, and 60% of all Thor pictures don't do him justice. Ugly. And she wants to see 100% of Thor in the next issue. There has been one character in the Marvel swimsuit issues that has gone the full Monty.
All natural.
Can you guess who it is?
Okay, I like this game a lot.
Can you guess? Here's the game. Which Marvel Comics character went fully nude in the Marvel swimsuit issue? Guess.
Well, I'm trying to think of one that there's got to be a character out there that doesn't have, all the bits that you typically will try
genitals.
to cover up. Say genitals.
You can say genitals.
Those. I'm going like, does Nightcrawler not have the bits? Is he full?
Oh, he does.
Is he full Ken down there?
He does have the bits.
You know who else is blue is Mystique, and she's always all natural.
Nope.
Is it her?
Nope.
It's not her?
Nope.
Oh. Is it Howard the Duck?
Nope.
I feel like that's something Marvel would do if they really wanted to.
You're not going to get it, Michael.
I give up. Who is it?
Hold on.
Let me see it.
Let me save the picture real quick.
Let me have it.
I should have saved it ahead of time, and maybe I did, but I couldn't find it.
Let me have it.
And
give me it.
Here he is, Johnny Blaze. Isn't that just wonderful?
That's so hot, literally.
In the 1993 issue, it looks like.
Hey, Ghost Rider, put some clothes on for Pete's sake.
Sheesh, this ain't that kind of beach. You're showing a little too much bone.
Oh, that's
pretty good.
That's really good. I love that.
Yeah, so there's no nudity in the newest ones.
Yeah.
But I'm actually fine with that. But
yeah,
unless it's more Ghost Rider or Thor.
Thor that's for that lady.
That's one piece of little news. The second one, here's something that was really exciting. Yeah. Ready for this? Daredevil Born Again TV show.
Good show.
We thought it was fine.
I thought it was good. You thought it was fine.
I could go into a very long rant about how I feel about this show.
Yeah.
The point is, at the end, Matt and Karen are sitting there, and people picked out, like, what's that? Is that the Tom Holland Spider-Man theme song?
Yeah.
and everyone's like, holy crap, we're freaking out. And then the Newton brothers, the composers, were retweeting it or something, and people were like, oh my gosh, are they teasing that Spider-Man's going to be in the thing? It's going to be like Devil's Reign. It's going to be so cool. And then they had that tweet removed, and everyone's like, oh man, Kevin sniped him. Kevin got him. It's real. It's true. And then somebody else a few days later had rewatched the show and pointed out it's just Karen's theme song.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Why does it sound so much like Spider-Man?
Because the Newton brothers had no idea, and they tricked us all.
Everybody was saying that was Spider-Man.
Yeah. So if you rewatch it, literally just when Karen is on screen, it plays.
Crazy.
So unless there's some kind of Karen Spider-Man thing going on, which there isn't.
Spider Karen.
Yeah, it's not happening. So that's all.
That's a bit of a bummer. Because I was enjoying a lot of that news, or a lot of the speculation of Spidey joining Daredevil.
I mean, just the whole thing of like, we need an army.
Yeah.
We got, if we're going to fight Fisk, we need an army.
Yeah.
And then they go to Josie's bar, and we're like, it's going to be Danny Rand. It's going to be Luke Cage. Jessica Jones is going to be there.
Yeah.
Against all odds, it's going to be Spider-Man, even though they have no connection up to this point. Yeah. And then he walks into the room, and it's 3 cops, Cherry, and that other cop from the bank robbery episode.
Yeah. I didn't get that fired up. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I guess.
Way too cool of a line for what you really got out of it.
We need an army.
Yeah.
How about 2 nothing characters and 3 people who literally we're seeing for the first time?
Yeah. What an army that is, Jimmy and Timmy.
We love it. So hopefully the next season is good. I really am. I don't like that we had to wait a whole season for it to become a good show, basically. But here we are. Should we talk about Thunderbolts?
Talk about the TB. Well, you can't shorten it to TB, can you?
I got a tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis. You heard it here first, everybody. Let's talk about the Thunderbolts that we won't abbreviate from here on out.
Let's talk about the Thunderbolts that we will abbreviate as much as we can.
Yeah.
Who are the Thunderbolts, Michael? What's up with that?
The Thunderbolts are one of those teams.
Okay.
One of those Nothing further. That's it. They're one of those teams. You ever see a team of villains come together and one of them says something like, no. What are we? Some kind of Thunderbolts?
Yeah.
They're like that.
Okay.
They're like a team of villains that gets brought together even either for money or for because they can do the job that the heroes can't, allegedly.
Yeah.
They're one of those teams. They are Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad that you get from DC Comics.
Kind of, yeah.
And a lot of similarities, and I want to get into
in the more modern books.
Yeah,
I would say so.
Yeah,
they've kind of like morphed into being a Suicide Squad thing. It's not where they started, like at all.
Right. Yeah, which I very much want to talk about because things are. It's just there's interesting dynamics and comparisons between the two that I would love to discuss as we get through some of these comics. But the roster changes. One of the ones that there's a ton of both villains and anti-hero types that join in. I think it's more fun when it's actual villains.
Which the original version is.
Yes, very much so. I mean, it has Beetle, Goliath.
I've got them written down here. So the original run, written by Kurt Busiek, and which I think is how you say that.
Yeah.
And penciled by Mark Bagley.
1997.
Goat, inked by Vince Russell, colored by Joe Rosas. I don't know. Sorry. That's the creative team. It started in 1997. That version of it went pretty much up until what am I trying to think? Basically up until the Siege event that led into Dark Avengers.
When was that? 05, 06?
2006 or 7, 8.
Feels right.
7 or 8, I think, probably.
Yeah. So they had a good decade-long run as the team.
Yeah. I mean, a long time.
Yeah.
And so that's 100 or so, 130, 140 issues, I think, that it went for initially. The first 110 of those are more or less the core team, and then it shifts when it gets to Warren Ellis running the book. But the original team is Baron Zemo, Goliath, the Beetle, Moonstone, and Screaming Mimi. And they are all masquerading as superheroes in the wake of the Onslaught event, which is huge and big and convoluted in 90s.
Yeah.
And we don't need to get into that. But basically, some of the Avengers are dead or seemingly dead, and Zemo sees an opportunity to slide in and kind of seize power.
Do his world domination thing.
It's always a world domination thing for Mr. Zemo. He
loves it.
Helmet loves to take charge.
More babies need to be named Helmet. So
Helmet Zemo.
Let's have a good helmet renaissance.
I wonder if there's a website where you can look up names. Like,
good start.
Who is the most recent person to be named Helmet?
I'm sure it happens in Germany probably more often than
Wikipedia gave me Helmet Angula from 1945.
Okay, that can't be the most recent. There's no way.
Helmet Ashley died in 2021.
Rip.
Most famous people named Helmet. Number 1. This is the most important thing we can do today.
Yep.
Number 1 is Helmut Kohl.
Great. What did he do?
Well, his zodiac sign is Aries.
Stellar, mine too.
His most notable profession is statesman, and considered the most important person in history, born with the first name of Helmut.
Great.
I apologize if this is a horrible man and a fascist, a racist, evil. I have no idea.
He sounds
I also
great.
apologize, having said that, if he is also a really nice guy.
Yeah. I'm sure he's one or the other.
He looks like he could go either way.
Yeah.
I apologize to Helmut Kohl and family. Born April 3rd, 1930.
Nice.
So the Thunderbolts. He starts this team, and then, they masquerade as superheroes. They become very popular very quickly because the Avengers are gone, and they're even endorsed by the Black Widow and Spider-Man. They're like, I don't care what they're doing. If they're doing good, then great. I don't know. And then you find out at the end of the first issue that it's Baron Zemo. It's and the Masters of Evil. It's a big surprise at the time. Nowadays, we all know that. The same way that you go into Winter Soldier probably knowing that Bucky is the Winter Soldier.
Dude, spoilers. I haven't seen that yet.
Sorry. James Bond dies.
No!
Yes, I didn't know.
No, not again.
I didn't know that James Bond died in the spy movie.
Yeah.
No Time to Die.
Die Another Day, I think.
He doesn't die in Die Another Day. He does also not die in You Only Live Twice.
Pierce Brosnan's James Bond run dies in Die Another Day. It doesn't die another day. It dies that day.
All right.
Got him.
So Zemo kind of does his thing, and it's going to be world domination, and then it goes wrong eventually, and whatever.
Yeah.
That run bears little or no significance to what is going to probably be happening in this movie.
Probably.
So
from what we understand from the marketing and from everything we've seen so far.
Yeah, of what we've seen of these characters up till this point and everything too. Like, they're also not hiding who they are. They're not like masquerading as other characters or anything like that. It is just, Ghost and Taskmaster for a few minutes.
Starting
probably
from the bottom of the roster here.
Yeah, Ghost, Taskmaster, Black Widow, Red Guardian, U.S. Agent, and Bucky, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Elaine
Bennis.
Yeah.
And Bob Reynolds.
And Bob from Top Gun Maverick.
Is he the same character? Not the same character.
He's called Bob in both things. Okay. That's my only...
Yeah. But so the original run is just basically the idea is that it's these villains who are trying to be heroes. Some of them get tired of being villains and they're like, well, maybe we actually want to be heroes. Yeah. And that's probably what's going to happen in this movie, is that they're like, maybe we should be superheroes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, completely unrelated. So we appreciate that run. I like Kurt Busiek. I like Mark Bagley. But what is probably more relevant to this movie, if we're going to talk about the stuff that inspired the movie, is Warren Ellis's run when it became like a government-sanctioned Black Ops force in the wake then of Civil War.
Yeah.
So Civil War ends, the Superhero Registration Act is happening. Norman Osborn has kind of risen to power again as Norman Osborn. So he's then in charge of the Thunderbolts. Mm-hmm. So he's running this team. And then that eventually leads into the Siege event, which eventually leads into Dark Avengers. Well, no, Siege there's so many events that happen in this time.
Yeah.
It's so confusing.
Yep.
So Civil War happens, and then the Thunderbolts by Warren Ellis, and then Siege happens, and then some more Thunderbolts, and then Secret Invasion happens.
Yep.
Where all of the Skrulls are invading the Earth. Nothing like the thing in the TV show. The Skrulls are invading the Earth.
I don't think they made a TV show called Secret Invasion.
You're right. They didn't. It doesn't exist.
I don't know what you were
and
talking
if it
about there.
did, I wouldn't know about it.
Yeah, you wouldn't watch it for
I
sure.
didn't finish it if it does exist.
Me neither.
I watched a few episodes of it and gave up. But it doesn't exist.
It doesn't
so
exist.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, good.
But if it did, I wouldn't have done it anyway.
That feels smart because I feel like it would be a poor quality product.
It was a very poor quality product, I would say, if it existed.
If it existed.
Which it doesn't.
Obviously not.
So,
good.
Secret Invasion happens. In the end of Secret Invasion, Norman Osborn kills the Skrull Queen very publicly at the same time as Iron Man has to go and refuel his batteries. Little blind spot moment. And
recharge your batteries if you're going to be a
on,
superhero.
man. So it looks like Iron Man, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers at the time, is running away.
Yeah.
At the same time as Norman Osborn kills this Skrull Queen, not seemingly, saving the planet.
Yeah.
So then the president's like, hey, I want you in charge. Tony Stark is out.
Yeah.
So because it's all a government entity, because of the Registration Act, the president has the power to do that. So now Norman's in charge of the Avengers, and he replaces the new Avengers, which are at the time Spider-Man, Wolverine, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, characters like that.
Yeah.
Hawkeye replaces them with...
It's a good team.
It is a good team, and they lasted way not long enough.
Yeah.
Replaces them with the Dark Avengers, which is characters masquerading as a lot of those same characters. Miss Marvel, Wolverine, Hawkeye, Spider-Man, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So that's the large thing that's happening. That's the stuff that's probably a lot more relevant to this movie.
Totally. Yeah.
And that's what I have to say about that. So we've set the scene. I've done a lot of talking, saying this is what everything is. And now it's your turn, Michael. Take charge.
Well, it should be said too. There's like more Thunderbolts after the Dark Avengers run, but a lot of it is, maybe the roster kind of moves toward who is in it right now or who will be in it in this movie. But yeah, I mean, not a ton that is like foundational for the story of the team as a whole.
Yeah, like because a lot of those characters, this is the thing, the Marvel Synergy thing that happens, is that even though this is a legacy team that has these characters from forever ago, you bring these characters back, or you want to bring this team back as the publisher, and you're like, well, nobody cares about Moonstone or the Radioactive Man or whoever it is, Songbird, Beetle, whatever.
Yeah.
Who can we put on this team who's like a villain? Bucky, I don't know. We have like a Captain America, Red Guardian. That's interesting. Maybe that's our lesser known character that we can throw in there. Put a Black Widow in there. I don't know. Hawkeye's kind of a villain. Maybe he can be part of it. Yeah. And it just becomes this mishmash of popular characters, and it's basically just an Avengers book.
Yeah, truly.
Instead of being something more unique. So while there are more recent runs, like there is one from like 2023, I think, that Bucky's the leader of. Yeah,
and he has Val, who is Elaine.
Yes.
In the movie. They have both Black Widows, Natasha and Yelena. They have Red Guardian in that. Yeah, like so it's a lot. It looks like what this movie is on paper.
On the surface, but the story-wise and everything like that, probably not.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially knowing who the villain is of the movie.
Yeah.
We're also going to talk about the Sentry. So there is the original series, the mini-series from 2000, 5-issue main series, and then there's a final issue that finishes it out. And then he got rolled into the universe for real later on, and then had his own book later on. And then he becomes one of the Dark Avengers.
Yeah. Okay.
So much crazy continuity stuff.
It's all over.
This is like trying to prepare for this episode has been a nightmare because there's so much.
Yeah.
There's so much of these different pieces of this stuff, and so much of it is in so much continuity stuff where it's like, if you don't know decades of comic book, then it's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Nothing makes any sense. And if you want to know more about that, then next next episode, we're going to be talking about really good comics to be. The question was, what comic should I read to be a comic book insider as a beginner and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about that, of like books that could be cool to start out with.
Yeah, and part of that is getting used to this continuity being everywhere. Like that's central to being a comic book fan in a lot of ways. Is like you're going to run into this, and
the amount of times I had to ask the
mess,
machine, like, when does this take place after this? Is there another issue of this? How do I read this?
Yeah,
because there's like, it's so confusing. Comic books are so confusing sometimes.
Yeah,
and this is one of the most frustrating experiences I've had trying to read a group of characters.
Yeah.
Because it's not just like the X-Men and there's an event and then you keep reading X-Men. This is a book that's an amalgam of different books that then has crossovers on the other characters or has history with these other characters, and then it gets to a crossover, and then you've got a character coming in from another ongoing book that if you don't know what's going on in that book, it's confusing. So I'm like, it's a lot.
Yeah. And that's what makes it fun. Like, that's the fun part. It's the tough part and it's the fun part. It's both,
Once so you understand all of it and have read all of it, it's really cool and rewarding to understand this huge history.
Yes. Yeah.
But man, is it annoying trying to track it sometimes.
Yeah, it is. We're going to get into it next week. Come back, listen to us rant about it for a lot longer than we have right now.
Yes. And preview, we're both going to have 3 books that we think are great starting points.
Yeah.
Preview of one of mine right here, Batman Year One. Come back and I'll talk a lot more about that next time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Look at that.
I love it.
Since if we're talking about the like trope that Thunderbolts kind of works off of it's a team of villains that, again, the idea is for whatever reason the heroes can't get the job done, so the villains step in for whatever motivation is offered to them.
Sure.
And they do the thing. So many of these stories have been told. We've had 2 Suicide Squads. We've had Creature Commandos that kind of do this.
Like in adapted to the screen. Stories.
A lot of times, I think that's the most culturally known stuff.
Sure,
but this is done in a lot of comic book stuff too.
Sure,
Creature Commandos we recently had on screen.
Which is very good.
Yeah. X-Force is kind of not necessarily villains, but they're morally dubious kind of characters.
Yeah.
They're the X-Men that aren't afraid to kill people, essentially. That's the really
Black
lame
Ops
way of
X-Men.
saying it. Yeah, exactly. Same with Guardians of the Galaxy. They're criminals.
They're kind of like anti-heroes a little bit.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And of course the Thunderbolts now.
But it's become so common that like anti-hero doesn't even really mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
And in the classical sense of the word anti-hero, what we call an anti-hero is not that at all.
Totally. Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know. I think that this movie has a lot of potential, and I think it could be really, really good.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious what they're actually going to do with it, because is it going to be like just the same thing that we've seen a million times, or is it going to be something actually unique?
Totally. Because the tough thing for me is just that I don't like it's one of the big things I don't like about the Suicide Squad, especially the second one that came out, the better one. I know it is the better movie, right?
Not hard.
That's not hard at all. But they do this thing where the whole team, by the end of it, does that. I think
we're going to be good guys.
You
now.
said it. Yeah, we're going to be superheroes, or let's be superheroes, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I just want them to stay villains and to do the job. I think it's a much more interesting story when they're doing the job as villains still, and like you get to explore the question of like, what does a selfish motive look like when doing a good deed, kind of thing.
But it's a harder thing to write, because you want these characters to also be interesting to read and in their own way likable. Yeah. But if you're just writing truly despicable villains, then you don't want to read a full book of just bad guys doing bad things. Yeah. It's like at a certain point, that's not interesting. So how do you do that? And I think that where they really succeed in the Warren Ellis book and in the Michael Bendis and the Bendis Dark Avengers is they do find like a motivation where like maybe there is one or two of them that does want to push into being a good guy a little bit. Yeah. But it becomes a thing where they're kind of pushing against the rest of the team. But I don't know. In the Ellis run, Warren Ellis has a tendency to write kind of really dark stuff, gritty stuff. Yeah. And it's good, but it felt a little bit just like I'm getting context for the other stuff that's going on rather than actually being invested in these characters. Yeah. Because they're just bad guys. They're just truly bad guys. There's a point where some psychics or whatever, telepaths, break into... They turn themselves in under the Superhero Registration Act into Thunderbolt Mountain, and they start manipulating. They don't know they're telepaths, so they start manipulating the swordsman, who is the son of Baron Strucker in this run, and they start manipulating Venom, who is Mac Gargan, the Scorpion at this point, and they make them kind of go crazy. The same thing with Norman. They're slowly driving Norman insane and turning him back into the Goblin a little bit. And at the whole time, I'm like, I don't know why I care that they're doing these bad things to these guys, because these people are kind of the heroes of this story,
right?
At this point, they're the ones stopping the villains who are the Thunderbolts in this. Yeah, and I don't know. It's like you're kind of just waiting to see how it all falls apart, because you kind of assume that it's going to at some point, which is why what I really like in these books is seeing Norman's slow descent back into insanity. Which is really fun and really interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he's on all kinds of meds and stuff. And Moonstone is slowly kind of manipulating him and trying to get her place as the leader of the team or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And they make Norman Osborn, I mean, they really convince you, the reader, that he's reformed. You know what I mean?
A little bit,
like you sit there and read it, and you're like, when he's not meeting with the Cabal, you're so convinced that he's actually turned around and he's trying to be good and do the right thing and like redeem himself and stuff like that. And that's like, it's hard to keep your reader on the hook for things like that, like to have him actually convinced but still wondering. And I think especially that Dark Avengers run from 2009 just does it so well. It's a beautifully crafted sort of a tension that they make, you know.
What's your favorite thing about the Dark Avengers? Why do you like it? Drawn by Mike Deodato, colored by Rain Barreto, and written by Brian Michael Bendis, who also previous to that was writing the Avengers book. So basically went from writing New Avengers to Dark Avengers.
Bendis is a stud of a writer. I don't think I've met a Bendis creation that I haven't enjoyed.
He just seems to kind of get the voice of like every character that he writes. And there's probably, books that aren't quite good or feel kind of goofy, and you can tell us those in the comments, or tell us your favorite Bendis books. I don't know. Tell us your favorite and maybe one that's not too good. I don't know.
Yes, tell us.
But I mean, Ultimate Spider-Man, the original run, fantastic. His Moon Knight, you really love his Moon Knight. His Daredevil is hugely popular. The New Avengers is really popular. And then Dark Avengers. Really entertaining.
Absolutely. No, it is 100%. And he does this great thing too. I mean, he does this, and of course couples it with the artists that like they give each character the proper amount of attention. You know what I mean? Like there's not a single moment, when they're focusing on Mac Gargan's Venom. There's not a point where I'm just like, oh, I would much rather this get back to talking about the Sentry plot. Like it all will pull you in and make you wonder what their motivations are, what they're going to do next, when will they fly off the handle, because they're all crazy a little bit, most of them. So it never leaves you bored. It's not the kind of story that will bore you when it focuses on somebody that's not your favorite character. Because you all like they all can be your favorite for some reason.
This is my problem. I don't know if it's a problem. I really like reading Bullseye.
Bullseye's fun.
Bullseye is so horrible in like the best way.
Oh gosh,
and
Norman
you love to hate
too.
Him, Norman is just the worst. In his own strange way. He just sucks as a dude. He's the worst. And Bullseye is like fully, completely insane. And Warren Ellis does that really well. Warren Ellis really pushes how he's just like a complete unrepentant psychopath. And from what I've read of Dark Avengers so far, Bendis does that as well. He does a really good job of, he's just like, he doesn't care about any of these things that's happening. He's asking in one of the issues about like, oh, what is it? Oh man, he asked for something that I don't remember. Oh, Michael, remind me what it is.
In Dark Avengers or in the Ellis run?
In Dark Avengers.
What was he? I don't remember this.
I don't know, Michael.
I trust you, though. I trust you that he was asking for something. He was asking Osborne, I'm guessing is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Stand by.
I got it. Hold on.
Stand by, friends. Things. Yeah, we'll edit.
Photo. Nice. Ghosts. Okay, yeah. So, like, I love this moment when he walks in to meet with Osborne, and Osborne asks him, like, you need anything? Water? And Bullseye says, vodka? Osborne's response is, not on your meds. And Bullseye's response is just, true that. He's like, he knows.
Yeah.
He knows what's happening here.
He's just so careless about everything, including that. He's completely
disconnected from any sense of like reality.
Yeah, there's like the philosophy. I think it's hedonism, where it's just like, I don't care about anything. Nothing is held in reverence. It just is what it is. Yeah.
Also, tell me, what do you think about Norman Osborn here?
I love his hair every time I see him.
Not the hair's not. I love the waves. I love the waves.
Yeah,
but
always.
It's not quite what I'm thinking about.
Oh, are you saying specifically on this in this page?
No, just in general about Norman Osborn as drawn by Mike Deodato.
Oh, I don't know why. Is he
you don't recognize this guy?
Does he
look familiar to you?
I don't know. He looks like Rod Serling, maybe. Who are you talking to?
No.
He looks like Tommy Lee Jones.
He looks just like
in that frame,
Tommy
especially.
Lee
He looks
Jones.
like Tommy Lee Jones.
Mike Deodato. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah,
man just draws him as Tommy Lee Jones.
That's so good.
Like every single frame, he's Tommy Lee Jones.
That's fun. I don't see it in every single frame, but I for sure saw it in
it's
some
more
of them.
overt in some than it is in others.
Yeah, big time.
Is the way that Gary Frank drawing Superman is just Chris Reeve every single time.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Dude, I love it. Do you like the Iron Patriot persona that Osborn takes up in this?
I haven't read as much of Dark Avengers as you have.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly where he goes with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it's, Iron Man was the leader of the team previous to that.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that if Norman was going to be the leader of the team in a more like front and center sense than he was in the Warren Ellis one, where he was just like the boss, the money man.
Yeah.
It makes sense that he would do some kind of Iron Man thing. And then because it's this government organization now, and because he's being commissioned by the president, he's tapping into the American spirit. It's all very post-Civil War. These books were so like heightened politically. Yeah. There's so much I don't know, just like the writing of them is so intensely political that you can't like in a way that the modern stuff isn't.
Yeah.
Like the modern stuff sometimes feels a little bit like it's pandering sometimes, where it's just like you're just saying the things that everybody is saying, where this stuff kind of feels, I mean, it's the era, it's like it's 2008, it's 2009. Yeah. It's edgy time.
Yes.
It's time to be edgy and say that George Bush is a problem. I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
This is my politics. I'm Warren Ellis. And like, that's what a lot of that stuff feels like. I mean, Civil War is a very post 9/11 book.
Oh yeah.
All of this stuff is very much living in that world, which is so, it's just weird reading it now.
Yeah.
Because it feels so disconnected from like comics now, as well as really a lot older books that I have been reading lately as well.
Yeah, disconnected maybe, but also like earnest for the time that it was. You know what I mean?
I think it really works most of the time.
Yeah, you hear the voice in it for sure. The voice of like that time in history.
Because I think a lot of times, like they tackle a lot of the same things of like corporate America being in charge of everything and whatever stuff like that. But a lot of like when Jason Aaron started doing that with Roxxon, it was okay. And then it kind of started to just be like a little ham-fisted, a little like whatever.
Yeah.
Al Ewing started doing it again then later with Immortal Hulk. Everything in Immortal Hulk is incredible. But this feels very well done. Like it's a lot of these same issues that comics are doing today and stuff like that, but it feels done in a way that feels more like authentic to me, maybe a little bit more intelligent to me, even if the overall book isn't as good, I would say, as some modern books. It's a weird trade-off.
Totally.
Where like the themes are maybe more well thought out, even if the overall story of the Warren Ellis Thunderbolts or the lead up to the Dark Avengers or whatever is just kind of like fine.
Yeah. I also like that he's in a lot of ways Osborn's like a perversion of Iron Man in the same way that in the 90s run,
Sure.
Baron Zemo was a similar perversion of
Captain
like
America.
this. I like Captain America, or what was his actual like hero name in that? Somebody else dressed in the Stars and Stripes.
Citizen V.
Citizen V, who I guess is some older Marvel hero that we don't.
I don't know if that actually previously existed. I think it's a thing that's just like
it's just in
we're
universe.
inventing a thing in this to be a thing.
Yeah, because he says like, oh yeah, my grandfather was the original Citizen V, and he fought fascists when Zemo under the mask is himself a fascist.
Yeah.
In the same way, like Osborn is still, you get the feeling that he's still kind of in his old way. Like for example, in one of the earliest issues, he goes and there's a battle in Latveria in Doctor Doom's
Classic
home. Shout out to Doctor Doom.
Shout out Dr. Doom.
Good to see
sir.
you. I hope you're
Welcome
watching.
to the show.
He goes and saves him, and he's kind of like bartering with Doom for control of Doom's technology. And he threatens to drop him because he's like carrying him on like he's flying. And he goes, I could drop you and just take what I want, something like that.
Yeah.
But in the next panel, you see that Osborn's not even in the suit. Like he's controlling it remotely. And it's, where Iron Man would have engaged with in this whole battle in the suit physically. He's, Osborn is keeping himself out of harm's way.
Sure.
And he's just he's back in their base or wherever he is.
Yeah.
Not actually present, not actually in danger, which is just so like, it shows his self-preservation. It shows this very tactical and strategic way of thinking about things.
Yeah.
And it's those little character moments in that Dark Avengers run that I think is just so interesting. Yeah.
Huh.
Same with how he interacts with the Sentry. Same deal. It's like he will manipulate the Sentry and he'll insist, you see these panels where they're in this dialogue and he'll insist there is no void. The void doesn't exist. It's just you and me, Bob. Until he needs the void, until the void will be helpful for his mission. And then it's, I need the other guy. And Sentry goes, I thought you said he didn't exist. And he just ignores that. He just ignores like everything that he's said. And he goes, this is what I need in this moment. So forget what I said before.
Yeah, it doesn't
I don't
matter
actually care
anymore.
about you, Bob. I care about my goals. It's just so like, it's a really good way. And those are those moments where it's like everything else just seems so altruistic, but there are these little seeds that make you think maybe he's like, he's off still.
He's an evil guy. He's a goblin guy.
He's a goblin guy. He's got the mind goblin.
He's the
Everybody Google mind goblin real fast.
so the Sentry.
Such a fun character.
Yeah. I did not know what his deal was
Yeah.
until I read the miniseries like a day ago.
Same miniseries from 2000.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
I kind of just thought that he was like a big, strong guy.
Yeah, his
for
Marvel
a while.
Superman is what you hear a lot.
Yeah.
Weirdly, because he's not at all Marvel Superman.
I mean, in this book, he very much is. And they lean on that pretty intensely. Where
What do you
he's
mean?
like, they're saying, well, he's the first superhero. And he was the first one among all of us. He's a very Silver Age hero, which is nothing that any of the Marvel heroes ever were.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Marvel heroes didn't really exist that much in like the 50s era, because the Marvel family kind of started in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think of like Silver Age, you think of DC characters.
Yeah.
Of like the Dick Sprang Batman and stuff like that, and Joker with all his little gadgets and jokes and pranks and things like that, and Superman having 100 different colors of kryptonite that all do different things, and he's doing space adventures, and there's interdimensional creatures and aliens. Whoa,
The good days.
yeah, like silly, goofy times when the Comics Code Authority was stopping writers from doing really intense, serious stuff.
Yeah.
That's what this character is. So he feels in a weird way very separate from the Marvel universe, which is in the part of the meta narrative very intentional. So tell us, what is this? What's his deal? What's this series about?
So it's funny so in this series, I don't think he looks like Superman even at all.
Not visually.
Well, I'm not talking visually necessarily. 'Cause his whole thing in this what is it, 5-issue series, is he wakes up in the middle of the night. He's hearing voices and talking about something that are talking about something coming back or something returning. And so he gradually, over the course of these 5 issues, starts going to heroes that I guess you find out he used to know, and telling them, "Oh, I'm a hero. I'm called the Sentry."
Which he's also remembering it in the moment as well.
Yes,
he's not sure what's going on either.
Yeah. So you're confused. He's confused. All the other characters in the book are confused about who this guy is. Yeah. And yeah. So as you come to understand, he is genuinely a hero. He's not a crazy person. Which that would be hilarious if the series ended and it turned out he was crazy.
Yeah.
And he was never actually a hero. But he is. He's a big, strong man. And he shares a form sometimes, I guess, with this entity called the Void, that went off to space and is returning to Earth, and he's trying to warn everybody, and so he's got to like wake everybody up, so to speak, from their like blocked out memories. So he goes and talks to Mr. Fantastic. He talks to Spider-Man. He talks to Doctor Strange, who's the only one that does remember him.
He never talks to Doctor Strange. Strange comes and talks to Reed and is like, "Here's the secrets and whatever."
Oh, right. Yeah. Doesn't he talk to? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but it's like, so it's this whole trip you go on with him of trying to get everyone to remember who he is, even though there was some intentional effort sometime in the past to block out all memory of him.
Yeah. So the meta narrative is that there's basically this like Superman-esque character who is ultra powerful and ultra strong and impervious to all kinds of damage and powered by the sun, all these different kinds of things.
The power of 10 million suns.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And for some reason, this guy who was like the first superhero that everyone looked up to, he was like the guy, we all wanted to be like him, all these different things. He, for some reason, had to be erased from existence. And you don't know why that happened.
Yeah.
And he's kind of figuring that out as it goes. And what you said is interesting because you didn't get to the final tie-in where it actually concludes, right?
Right. So yeah, you know more than I do about how it ends up. Yeah.
The entity, the Void, is him.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that went off into space and then came back. It was always there.
Yeah.
And it just finally slowly got at him.
Yeah.
So it's this thing where he's thinking like, I've got to fight this thing. I've got to fight this thing. This thing's coming back. Everyone, I need your help. And they finally figure out at the end, oh no, it's you. This is why we did this.
Yeah. Because
if you remember, then the Void has to come back.
Yeah.
And then the world ends, basically.
I kind of figured that's where it was going just because I don't know how I know that the character, the Sentry is also the Void in the same body. But like, I figured it was kind of...
You read Dark Avengers, so you get some of that on the other end of that. I knew going into it, having read Straczynski's Thor, which led into Siege, that there was some kind of other being that lived inside of him or something like that.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of that in there, and then they go back and they reactivate all the stuff, and then he's erased essentially from existence again. Later on, they do fold him back into the regular universe and all the different stuff and things like that, and then it's just weird continuity stuff of like, was he always there the whole time? Who knows?
But it's pretty fun how they do that, though, And
I really like that.
Honestly, the MCU maybe should take notes for the future for getting like, I'll pose that as a question. Do you think that they'll do this with the Sentry they're bringing into the MCU now? That they'll make some effort to be like, oh yeah, he was always here.
Will they do the memory thing?
Yeah, but you, the audience, don't know, and neither do any of the characters because he's been erased. Because I think that would be actually kind of a fun nod, I think, in the movies. And to me, I think that would engage audiences in an entertaining sort of way to do a little like, it's like a retcon, but it's like a retcon with an in-universe explanation. I think is fun writing. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's why this book is so interesting.
Yeah.
Is because it is genuinely, like, if they're doing it all over the place, it's weird, but I don't know what else Paul Jenkins has done. It feels like this book is so well written that I imagine he has to have done other stuff that I've read.
He must have, yeah.
Off the top of my head, I didn't know. He wrote a lot of Hellblazer comics, it looks like. Peter Parker Spider-Man 98 to 2003, Spectacular Spider-Man 2003 2005. So he's done a lot of different stuff. I really like this book and the way that it introduces this guy and keeps us, the audience, also confused. It kind of does the Bourne supremacy, the Bourne identity. If you took out all the Treadstone stuff, and you were just watching it with Jason Bourne, arguably a vastly better movie.
Could be
so much more interesting that way because you don't know what's going on. You're there with Bourne.
Yeah,
you could very easily have done a thing where you cut away to Doctor Strange and have him realizing all this stuff is happening and being like, oh no, he's back and I got to stop all this stuff from happening. I got to help Reed Richards, who went to this guy's wedding because they were best friends, and I got to go talk to Peter Parker, who looked up to him growing up, and I got to go help the Angel and the X-Men because Angel went to his house that one time and all this different stuff. It's like, but they didn't do that.
Yeah.
And that's why this book really, really works. Now, if you want me to tell you, do I think that the MCU is going to be brave enough to do that?
Right.
Then we should start our bingo game.
I can start a bingo game with you. Sure.
So this is so far, I mean, we're like 50 minutes in. We've been talking a lot about all these different books. If you want to read more comics like this, then I could suggest, if you like the original run of these characters, then you should read the original run of the Suicide Squad. It's a very kind of similar feeling in there. If you like the Warren Ellis run on this character, you should read his Moon Knight run. It's really, really good.
Yes, it is.
You should also check out, if you like Dark Avengers, man, I don't know, you suggest something for Dark Avengers.
Dark Avengers had a ton of like spin-offs with different characters, like different individual characters that touched that run of Avengers comics. So read those. I mean, you have a ton to choose from with all the characters you could possibly want. Yeah. That's an exaggeration, but
there's an embarrassment of riches, Michael.
Good.
Okay.
What a way to say that.
So speaking of embarrassment, let's start our bingo game.
Yeah.
So if you watched, or no, this would be on Cinema Lounge.
On Cinema
Lounge,
so if
you're a Cinema Lounge viewer and you watched our episode that we did on Captain America, New Captain America, then Brave New Captain America, sorry. I got to get the title right.
Yeah, figure it out, please.
Captain America, Brave New Captain America.
Yeah.
And the Falcon.
If you remember from that episode, we did a bingo game where we guessed what was going to happen in the movie.
It's not a bingo game, but we called it a bingo game.
Why do we call it bingo?
Because I said it, and I think it just sounded fun.
You can cross them off when you. Nonetheless, go watch that episode of Cinema Lounge. What are you doing not having watched that?
Here's a link.
That's Wow, put a little red arrow there. Oh,
here's a link.
Good heavens! If you're on Spotify, you're toast. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you're on Spotify, then sorry.
Get on YouTube or just search up Cinema Lounge on Spotify. Anyways, we're gonna do something like that here. We both have 5 guesses for what's gonna happen, like things that might happen, or things that we think will happen in the Thunderbolts movie that we're gonna go see later this week.
And then we have the option to say to the other person's things that either I'm saying that will or will not happen. Yeah. And then if we get it right, then we get a point.
We get another point from that person. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go first then.
Yeah, you go first.
So I think one of mine is they are too cowardly and they don't do the cool thing of integrating the memory loss thing with the Sentry and putting him in the universe the whole time.
Is that your actual first one that you wrote down, or is that?
No, but that is one that I did write down here. I think that they are going to be cowards and not cool enough, and they're not going to do that. Yeah. I think it could be so cool to like have these images of things from past movies, like Avengers movies or whatever, and then you would see
he's just in there.
He's in there.
That would be
so
could be
really
fun.
Interesting. Yeah. I think they're too scared to do it. And I think they're going to just lean more on the Void side of things than the actual like Sentry, Bob Reynolds, big major superhero side of things. Yeah. Because he's also a young actor. So to put him in these earlier ones could be weird. I don't know. They also don't have to show him in the previous movies. I don't know. I think they're cowards.
That'd be cool to do that. And on top of that, they're going to put him in more movies. Like he's confirmed for Avengers Doomsday now. So they're going to keep putting him in things. Yeah. That said, I agree that they are cowards. So I think you're correct that they will not do that very, very cool and fun thing that they could do.
Great.
In this movie, sadly.
Yours next.
My first one that I wrote down: new team members at the end. I think we'll have new members of this existing Thunderbolts team that get added. Like think the ending of Age of Ultron, where you get Falcon and
So it's just
Scarlet
like a little
Witch
tease
and
of like, these people are here now.
something like that. Yeah. Just them coming
Interesting.
in. I'm thinking maybe Zemo, maybe Red Hulk, maybe Goliath from Ant-Man and the
Definitely
Wasp.
not Red Hulk.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, I mean, it's Thunderbolt Ross. It's his whole thing.
But also, it's not. I was always under the impression that it was called that because of him.
But it's not. Yeah,
But
that's
it's
not the namesake
He has
of the.
nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And he wasn't on the team until like a decade later.
Yeah, but he is a brand new character that they've recently introduced, so it feels right that they would be like, oh, he's on this team now. That way, once they get to Avengers Doomsday and they need to just pull everybody in and have an excuse to have their existing IPs show up in the same place, then Harrison Ford's Red Hulk will show up.
I think Zemo would be a hard one because he's off doing whatever the heck he wants now.
Yeah,
Like he's off in his own world. The
But maybe
president
that's
is in
being,
prison.
yeah, facts.
So I don't know about that.
Even more reason for him to break out and join a villain team here.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know who that would be that they would, and maybe they'll pull some random villain that the problem is that all these characters just kill all their villains. So who is there to pull from? Very few people.
Some of these guys in the raft. The raft is pretty empty.
Yeah.
At
They
least
got
as
this
far as we
big
know.
fat super prison with a lot of dead people in it, I guess.
Just skeletons.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Just new team members in general. I was just throwing out ideas, but yeah.
I'm going to say no.
You think they won't bring in newbies?
I think no.
All right.
Because I think this is a big family and we're all going to grow together as a family.
Ugh.
This movie's about family. Our movie's all about family. So,
That's how I
would you like to know my next one?
Yeah, please give me your next one, please.
Taskmaster dies very quickly.
That's an easy yes.
It is an easy guess.
That's 100% going to happen.
I love that they're not even hiding it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Do you have a guess for like 30
Amount of
minutes or
time?
sooner, 15 minutes or sooner?
See, do you want me to like start a stopwatch when we go to the movie?
You
And then
could.
find out. I think I want to say in the first 20 minutes, but that feels that feels a little.
I think
I'm going to say the first 37 minutes.
the first 37 minutes is crazy. But I think even 20 minutes was a fine cap to put on it. Because I 100% think she'll be gone.
Okay, so are you going to say yes, but put the caveat of 20 minutes?
No, not necessarily. I say yes no matter what. What?
So then I don't have to put a 37. Do I get a bonus? Do I get a bonus point?
Only if I also get a bonus point. Then what's the point? But I think yes no matter what. Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
Or it could be who gets closest to when the time. What that's what it is. Who's closest to the runtime? Because we know that she's going to die.
Way to raise the stakes.
Who can get the time code closest to when it happens?
Are you saying 37?
I'm gonna say 28.
You're gonna say 28 minutes is when
in.
she dies. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say in that case, you're locking in 28.
Yep. 28 minutes in.
I'm gonna say 29 because I think it'll take a little bit
Oh
longer.
my gosh, Michael!
I'm doing the old Price is Right thing to you.
You absolute trash man.
But we'll see. We'll see when it happens.
I can't believe you
it could
just
be in the
did that
first
to
few
me.
minutes. You know what I mean?
And if you go over, you forfeit all of your points.
Not at all. No. Terrible,
Okay,
terrible rule.
Fine.
All right, 29 minutes is my take.
All right, your turn.
My next one, Seinfeld Easter egg.
Seinfeld Easter egg.
My favorite bit this entire time talking about this movie has been the fact that Elaine is in it. So I think there will be some kind of a Seinfeld Easter egg. Maybe it's in the background. Maybe it's maybe it's more overt. I doubt it'll be more overt. I think there will be something in the background.
Maybe
that
she'll do
pokes
the
fun
little
at
dance.
Seinfeld. She could do the little dance. She could make a little love. She could get down tonight.
Yeah, that's true. I think I was reading some comic recently. Oh man, it might have been that issue of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it was in the newest issue of Amazing Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Peter goes to Rhino's apartment and it's Jerry's apartment. And I immediately recognized it as Jerry's apartment. Like, that's amazing.
I kind of love
what
that.
What are we doing, guys?
Just doing
like,
whatever we
this
want.
is just a standard thing. It's great. That apartment doesn't make sense. There's a door that goes this way, and then the hallway is right there.
There's got to be some part of that hallway that we just don't see that makes it make sense as part of the set.
I don't think so.
It's got to be.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so. How does it connect to Kramer's apartment? Kramer's apartment is right across.
Yeah.
And Jerry's apartment goes that way.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of crap. I'm gonna say no.
You say they're gonna hold themselves to no Seinfeld Easter egg is what you're telling me right now.
Yeah.
That you're crazy. Okay. All right, I'll give it to you. Fine. More
All
points
right.
for me when I get it right.
Okay. I've got another easy gimme. The asterisk is because this is secretly a Dark Avengers movie.
Oh.
So people can't figure out what the heck is this asterisk? Why are they not telling us what the asterisk is?
Yeah.
The asterisk is because this is secretly a Dark Avengers movie. And I'm going to go all in. We will get a second title card in the third act that says the Dark Avengers.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe
Okay.
even Invincible style, where when they go to say it, it pops up on the screen.
Oh, they have their Fant4 moment.
Yeah.
Say that again?
What'd you just say? What are we, some kind of Dark Avengers?
What are we, some kind of Fantastic Four? Says the Red Guardian.
Some kind of Fantastic Four?
That was a better impression than I thought it was going to be. I'll be honest with you.
No problem.
So you said a good gimme, but funny enough, I'm going to say no to that.
You're a coward, just like Marvel Cinematic Studios.
Marvel Cinematic Studios, you heard it here first,
You
folks.
heard me.
The reason why I said no is because of my next one. And my next thing is that it's going to be called The New Avengers by the end of the movie. The New Avengers. That's what I think, because I think that I don't think they have the guts to call it the Dark Avengers, because I think that the New Avengers is just going to become the Avengers later on. That is my speculation for the long-term future of this team, is that this is just gonna reboot the actual event. You know, it's Bucky and Sam are gonna reunite and go, let's work together again and do this. I don't know who that was.
There'll be some even more newer Avengers.
Some more newer Avengers.
The newer Avengers.
More newer Avengers. Doomsday.
Manure Avengers.
Hate that.
Uh-oh.
But I will also double down and say extra title card, because I really like that idea, and I could very much see that happening. Even I was gonna say even if it's just the so and so, I think the New Avengers will return or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, I think it'll be an honest to goodness like closing title card.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I think no.
I feel like you have to say
I think
no
it's Dark
since you were thinking.
Avengers.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for my next one?
Yep.
It seems like Yelena is going to die, and then she doesn't.
Because there's that weird shot of her it looks like she's giving herself up to the void.
Maybe. Or maybe she does die, and then she comes back.
Will that count for she doesn't actually die?
Yeah.
Okay. I do think that will happen. I'm going to say yes to that one. Yeah.
That or the Red Guardian. But I'm sticking with that.
Yeah. I think Yelena also will get a good little fake out. Yeah.
Yours.
Mine's Sam Wilson cameo. That feels easy too, because we just saw him in Captain America, Brave New Captain America.
But why would he be there?
Because we also saw Bucky in that, so this is kind of a cute little swap, a little Yankee swap.
A cute swap?
Yeah, and because that movie is as not great as it was.
Yeah.
It did continuity things where it's like, oh, and the leader knows that the multiverse is coming. Oh, and they're trying to get Sam
which
Wilson.
Is like,
yeah.
Well, that's not even what he was talking about. I think I saw the director be like, yeah, he was talking about the Illuminati or something.
This director doesn't know anything.
It's
if that's
very
true,
confusing. Like he was talking about something that was like, why would it be that?
That's weird.
I don't. Makes no sense. They should have given him the bigger head.
They should have given him the bigger head. They've since released these these photos of the original design. Looks so much better.
Never show us the bigger head.
Yeah.
Never show me the bigger head.
Don't show the bigger head.
Don't show me the bigger head. All right?
Listen to me, Marvel.
You hear me now?
Marvel MCU Studios.
Marvel Cinematic Studios.
That's the one.
We are the big two, and we say, give us the big head.
Give us the big head.
Or show us nothing else. If you're not going to give us the big head, don't show us that you were gonna.
I stand by that.
It's like when my dad told me.
JP?
It's like when he told me I went to the Target to get on Good Friday, not Good Friday, Black Friday, and arguably they should change those names.
Yes, switch them, please.
I went to Target on Black Friday, and I was gonna get you this Lego Star Destroyer, but they were all out.
Oh,
don't
JP,
tell me that,
JP. You
why
can't.
Why do I know that now?
That just introduced sorrow to me. You know,
I am sad
that I didn't have.
Yeah, there's a new one now and it's cheaper.
Yeah, true.
What were we talking about?
It's a Sam Wilson cameo, Marshall. It's going to happen. I'm confident that it's going to happen. But the question is, are you bought in on my idea?
I say absolutely not.
You've said no to all of them.
That's because all of yours are stupid.
Are you joshing me?
All of yours are bad. And I want you to know.
You're nuts.
My last one.
You're a nutty guy.
My last one. Do you have one after this? Because I started, right?
Yeah, you have one more and I have one more.
Okay. I feel like mine. Do you want to hear mine or do you want to do yours? Because mine is a long shot.
I want to. I'll hear your long shot. Mine's a little bit of a long shot too. So
okay.
We'll end strong here.
There's one character that is involved in the Thunderbolts and the Dark Avengers and all this different stuff that we've not seen thus far, or we have in a different form. My long shot.
Are you talking about the Mind Goblin?
You know it. My long shot here is that I think that Norman Osborn is going to show up, played by Coleman Domingo.
Oh.
Who voices him in Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And he's very good. That show is kind of just fine.
Recently showed up on SNL doing the Domingo skit.
Was he on that?
No, it's not true. I'm lying.
Oh, that'd be funny.
I'm lying. But they did do the Domingo thing.
They did do the Domingo thing.
Can you imagine? He's such a good actor.
He's
Coleman Domingo
very,
is
very, very good. You should, if you haven't seen Sing Sing, you would love Sing Sing. He played Norman in the animated show that came out recently. That's like, what if the MCU always had Spider-Man, basically?
Yeah,
and it's really interesting. And the idea of Norman being the person who takes Peter under his wing instead of Tony makes so much more sense and is so much more interesting to watch.
Yeah,
but the overall show is kind of whatever. The point is,
hot take,
Coleman Domingo. I don't think it is. Wow. I think that's a pretty regular take. Coleman Domingo, the point is a very good Norman Osborn in that show, and I think that he could be a really good one in live action. It's just going to be weird that Peter has previously met a totally different Norman Osborn. And maybe this guy isn't the Green Goblin yet. He shouldn't be. And maybe it's interesting later because then Peter's skeptical of him because he's like, I met a different you, and he was white.
Yeah.
And
also he was terrible, and so I can't trust you in the least. Yeah. Oh, it's so tough because I want that to happen so badly.
Yeah. So if they're going to at some point, like maybe at the end, I think that would be an end teaser.
Yeah.
That would be like a post-credit scene where they would be like, maybe Valeria, whatever, Valentina, something, whatever her name is, she's out. Something happens and Elaine is out. And now they have a new director of
Norman on
the Dark Avengers. And it's industrialist, tech icon, Norman Osborn.
Yeah. Gosh, dude, it's such a good vision, and I want it so bad.
Yeah, but again, they're cowards.
They are cowards, and I have to say no. I have to say no because I don't think they would do that. I think the mess that it makes with Spider-Man is too much, especially because in No Way Home they said that Oscorp doesn't exist.
And
stuff
maybe
like that.
Doesn't. I don't know.
I don't know. That's what makes it so tough. They could do it. They could have the gall, the audacity, but they don't. And so I'm out.
Okay.
Tragically.
Okay.
I'll give you my final one.
Okay, Sharks.
That is probably, thank you. That's probably as much of a long shot, I think, if not more so.
Captain America comes back to life, kisses Elaine on the mouth.
But played by George Costanza.
Oh.
Huge. No.
Bucky!
What is the Bucky? What is the next Marvel movie that comes out after this one?
Do you know the answer to this question?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
I have no idea, actually.
You know what the next Marvel movie is.
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four, as it is in the trailer.
Fantastic Four.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
I was kind of channeling that energy in the sermon intro music. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Sometimes in life, Marvel movies set up their next movie with a post-credit scene.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you knew this.
No.
It's a lesser known thing. Nobody knows that you're supposed to
Marvel
stay in the
movies?
theater. In Marvel movies, yeah, you're supposed like if you stay in the theater, you get a little more. Kevin Feige just like throwing a little treat to you.
I stay there after Chicken Jockey?
You stay there after after the live chicken.
Marvel movies.
So putting that all together, I think that they're gonna do a Fantastic Four setup somehow. I have no idea.
It doesn't count if it's a trailer or like a sneak peek.
I'm not that. Oh, yeah, you got a good point there. I'm not thinking it'll be a trailer or a sneak peek.
Like they've done that in the past too.
Yeah,
or
a couple of
like
times.
Your post-credit sequence is just like a trailer for the next movie.
Yeah, I think that's what they do. What did they do that with? Captain America?
I don't remember.
Or they put an Avengers, just the original Avengers from 2012. They put that trailer in a movie at the post-credit scene of a movie. Anyways, it's not that. That's not what I'm picturing. But I think they will somehow set up Fantastic Four in order to give a little soft push for audiences into that one. I don't know what it'll look like, and I don't know how they would do it.
Yeah,
but that's what I think they will do.
I think you're wrong. I think no. I think definitely not.
You don't think?
I think all of your answers are bad this time.
That is so terrible because I'm going to be right on all of them. I'm going to
Sorry, Michael. I didn't mean to end our friendship like this.
Well, sorry everybody that we only got through 4 episodes of Tales from the Long Box.
Sorry, Anthony and Dr. Doom.
Especially Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
I love him. I want him to reach out to us. If you're Dr. Doom and you're already subscribed to us, please send us a message so we can so we can be pals.
If your name is Dr. Doom and you're seeing this message, that means that I'm dead. Send me all your money to this address.
All I need to be undead is your credit card number
and those 3 wacky numbers on the back.
Those 3 pesky little numbers on the back and the expiration date.
I'll show you my expiration date if you know what I mean. Speaking of expiration dates, Michael, this podcast is coming to its expiry time and it's time to end it. What do you think about the Thunderbolts? Are they cool?
I think they're very cool. I think the movie's going to be also very cool and I'm excited to go see it.
Who asked you? All right, so it's funny because I asked.
That is why it's funny.
It's just comedy.
It's called comedy.
Everyone likes it. Watch out, man. Chill out.
You guys all like it, right?
It's called
he's still going.
Risky comedy. It's called grown up. Jokes for
liberal.
Grown-ups.
It's called black comedy.
Watch out. Oh boy. Yeah, but this has been Tales from the Long Box. Thanks for being here. If you want to check out more stuff that we do, there's 3 other episodes out here right now. There's one about Star Wars comics. There's one about Daredevil and the things that inspired the new season of the television show. That maybe we thought it was good, maybe we thought it was bad. Whatever you feel like, that's what we think. And
we agree with you no matter what.
We agree with you no matter what. It was the best show ever, and it was also the worst.
It sucked.
I hated it. Was great, but it was so good. And our second episode was what?
It was our favorite comics. What got us into it?
Our favorite comics. It was just like an introducing.
Yep.
Who the heck are the big 2?
Yep. And
who in the world are these 2 guys?
That's us. A couple of studs. A couple of hotties.
A couple of hot guys who like comic books.
Yeah. Then we did a third one about Star Wars and what makes the Star Wars comics what'd you say, unreasonably good or
unreasonably good.
They're so good.
They're so good.
Yeah, so watch that.
And if you like other comic book stuff, you can check out my Instagram and everything else, Twitter, mparish_art. It's where I post all my stuff and you can reach out to me that way and stuff like that.
Did you add the underscore?
It's always been there.
I swear it was mparish_art.
Not on social medias.
You're nuts. There you go.
Sorry about it. You can check those things out.
Go see.
I also have an imprint shop where I sell my stuff. I've got the videos that I talked about earlier. Every Monday, there's a new process video coming out. Every other Wednesday is this podcast. And then hopefully on the off weeks, there should be some other things. Hard to keep up with that kind of thing so far right now, though. But sometimes there'll be stuff on the Wednesdays, Fridays, live streams. And you can check all those things out. Thanks for being here. Michael, you got anything you want to plug? You got any movies coming out you're starring in?
that I'm starring in.
This camera.
No,
This camera.
just these cameras filming Tales from the Long Box. But we love you, and we hope you subscribe for more of this content. And we even more so hope you keep reading comic books because they're great.
Thanks for being here. I'm sorry that Michael is so mean to you guys.
What do you mean?
And I hope that he learns his lesson.
I'm so nice to all of our fans.
You're like a thunderbolt. You're angry and you sound like a thunderman.
I'm only mean to the people who leave us mean comments.
Good night.
Love you. Bye.
Good love you. Good love you.
Good love you.
Good love you.
Good love. I love you more than Marshall does. Don't let him know.
It's true.